The Mitchelton Winery makes for a tranquil setting to start stage 3. The race, however, will be anything but. As they make their way out of the winery and eventually return into Ngambie, there's climbs to contend with, and the wind normally plays a role in this sun-soaked region. Cameron Meyer has the yellow jersey, but it's a slender lead, and the Avanti racing team has ambitions to take the jersey away. And as the battle for yellow continues, the sprinters will be hoping for another big bunch sprint finish.
Welcome back to our coverage of the 62nd Jayco Herald Sun Tour. Today it's day 4 and we've moved just down the road by about 4 kilometres away from our finish yesterday in Ngambie to Mitchelton Winery. But yesterday, of course, we saw that dramatic finish with Brenton Jones falling on the finishing line and crossing the line in 5th position. That was really a nasty looking crash.
Certainly was, Phil. It's unfortunate for Brenton Jones. Just a racing incident in the end. Sam Whitmitz was the rider that clipped him and put him down, but it wasn't Sam's fault at all. Put the blame perhaps on Brenton himself, but that's just a racing incident. That's the way it is. But look, he slid across the line. His body was 5th, his bike was 6th. The transponder had him 6th in the results, and they swapped that around because, of course, well, he did cross the line in 5th place in the end. But he's out of the race now, so he unfortunately won't take a role.
Yeah, so he went to hospital last night. He has broken a rib. He's got quite a lot of abrasions. But before the start this morning, Matt Keenan caught up with his mum because the whole family were watching the crash. Here's Matt and Brenton.
Well, Brenton, how do you feel this morning?
Bit sore, Matt. It was a heavy crash last night, so pretty sore today. Better than last night, though. Late night, 12 o'clock. I think I was pretty sore and needed some more painkillers, but this morning's not too bad.
It would have been tough getting to sleep last night.
Yeah, it took me maybe 3 hours of tossing and turning and putting up with the throbbing pain in the hip and in the back. But yeah, I only got a few hours sleep and was happy that I got some.
Yeah, it's never nice to see anyone crash, but when it is your own son, and you think no one's there to help him, and so my immediate instinct is to run out, help and scream, "Where's the doctor? Where's the doctor?" Yeah, it's a horrible feeling, really is. You just want to take that pain away from them and wish it never happened.
Do you have much memory of the fall?
I can remember everything that happened up until I got nudged, I guess, and came down, and then I can remember being loaded into the ambulance. So maybe 1 or 2 minutes there, I can't remember. So I think I was briefly knocked out, but not too serious.
Is that a blessing in disguise, not having a memory of the actual impact?
Maybe, yeah, but I'm sure that it wasn't that bad. Looking at the photos, it was a heavy impact on the ground, but I slid quite safely and no broken bones, just some heavy bruising and some muscles that need repairing.
Well, we wish Brenton all the best. He'll be back in action very shortly, I'm sure. Well, today's stage, 146 kilometres. Now, as I said, it's only 4 kilometres down the road to the finishing line, but for the way the riders go, it's a long route and we've got 2 climbs in the middle.
One very hard one as well. They go down almost towards the town of Yea and then turn left and go up the Highland Road, and it's a very difficult climb. I'm sure there'll be a split in the race today at that point, but it's about the halfway part of the stage. So you would expect a large group to come back together and we see a bunch sprint like we saw in yesterday's stage, and perhaps as we saw in yesterday's stage with Caleb Ewan, he had the onboard camera. Yeah. So hopefully we'll see that again today, and I'd expect Caleb to be in the mix certainly towards the end finish.
Might be a sprint finish, but you never know. But they do know the finish now. They had a dress rehearsal yesterday. Let's talk tactics.
Tactics for us today, we got Rob Power in the King of the Mountains jersey, so we're going to be looking for him to sort of save his legs and have a good crack at tomorrow's stage. And other than that, the rest of us will be looking to get in the breaks. We don't really have one specific sprinter, so our best result for a stage today is going to come from the breakaways.
Well, that's the feeling, I think, amongst many of the riders today. Stage 3, the chance of a breakaway might be successful as the riders sign in once again. Simon Clark, last year's winner, gets to sign in as number 1. But Jim Forkless perhaps planning something, or yesterday's winner there, Caleb Ewan. While Cameron Meyer is the man in the hot seat.
Pat, the rumour is Avanti is going to attack.
Well, rumours sometimes gather momentum too, but we'll wait to see. If there's an opportunity, we'll take it. You know, we're not here to run second, so we keep fighting, but there's still rumour is that Oracle will attack also.
What if they do attack? What do you guys do?
We obviously follow. Wherever they go, we go, and I think vice versa.
Our priority this week is for GC, for Brenton Canty and Michael Torkler, and I think they've shown, like from stage 1, that they're going to be right up there with those main climbers. So we'll worry about the finish when we get to it, but our priority would be to make sure that those guys start that climb at the front, and in case like something dangerous goes. But still, it's a long way to the finish from the climb. So, yeah, hopefully if I can get my big butt over the climb, yeah, we'll line up and have another crack at that sprint, and hopefully no incidents this time.
Second yesterday, but you were coming. Today's another big opportunity.
Yeah, definitely is. Another sprint stage, I hope. But there's a big climb in it today, or there's a couple. So if the GC guys want to light it up, there's not much we can do about it, but just hope we can come back.
Yeah, at the moment, the priority is the yellow jersey, and if a break goes, we're not really going to commit all the guys to chasing it because we need the guys for tomorrow, and I'm happy with that. And hopefully, hopefully there's a team that wants to bring it back for a sprint and it comes back together and we don't have to do much. That's the ideal situation, but yeah, we'll see.
And the course for stage 3 is 146.7 kilometres from the Mitchelton Winery through to Nagambie. And they head south towards Seymour for the first intermediate sprint. There are 2 of those out on course. And then further south, almost to Yea before they turn left and head up the Highlands Road. It's an 8-kilometre climb, the first of the 2 King of the Mountain sprints. Shortly down up to the second one, and then head back into Seymour for the second of the 2 intermediate sprints. And then back on the same course towards Nagambie. It's a flat run into the finish with the same finish as we saw yesterday. There's the course profile. Very difficult hill, but it is a long way from the end of the stage. So you'd expect any breakaway groups that get away early to perhaps be caught before the bunch sprint.
And Cameron Meyer, last to the start, but first in the race overall. The green points jersey also his property, but worn on the shoulders there of New Zealand champion Joe Cooper. Everybody anticipating a good attacking day. Nobody knows quite what Simon Clark is thinking. His job is to help Cameron Meyer, now his teammate in the yellow jersey. The gun goes, our back is turned to Mitchelton Winery, where yesterday evening they entertained all of the riders to a festive board, and now they're heading out towards the race start. A little bit of neutralised riding before we turn out onto the course.
We can see Scott Davies from the Great Britain team on the left-hand side of the picture there in the young riders jersey for the state government of Victoria. And also Robert Power in the Budget Forklifts King of the Mountains competition leadership. He's in the black and yellow polka dotted jersey as well. Young gun. Looking forward to the climbs today. We'll see if he goes for any of the King of the Mountain points out on course today, Phil. Some narrow roads just after the start as well. And there wasn't too much wind when we were at Mitchelton Winery, but no doubt as the temperature heats up during the day, the wind will probably pick up as well. But on these narrow courses, the narrow roads, they need to be very careful.
Well, many of the out-of-town visitors will find that Melbourne and the area around Victoria, the weather changes literally every couple of hours. We've had all 4 seasons. Little bit of rain at the start, it's gone away, and the race now leaving in gently cool conditions, but absolutely no wind. Riders being forced onto the off the main surface here, and it's because the whole Orica green edge is spread across the road. You can't attack when they do that, Scott.
Well, the race official car has gone ahead. It's officially underway now. The green edge not really wanting to go for it. This is Ben Hill from Charter Mason, and Adam Phelan from the Drapac team had to go onto the dirt to go around green edge to go on the attack. And now you can see they're all trying to get past the Orica green edge team, and they're using the dirt surfaces. Hopefully there are no punches involved now.
Well, you can't blame the main field for using that tactic, but these boys were determined to break the grip, and Ben Hill has been the man to start the attack. This is Adam Phelan. He lost his teammate this morning because Brenton Jones unable to start with his injuries after his sprint finish crash yesterday. And they're trying to scramble a little group clear now. It depends, but there's no reaction at all from the field.
Well, that'll be the opportunity for this group to actually get a nice established gap. We saw Jaden Kopp in there from Charter Mason as well. That's Ben Hill's teammate. Rider there from Data 3 Semantic Racing. That's Ryan Thomas. That's Ben Hill on the front. Adam Phelan in second position. Cameron Bailey from the Search to Retain Health.com.au team. And also Jaden Kopp, Jacob Kaufman from the Budget Forklifts team. So lots of teams represented. We'd expected some attacks for sure on a stage like this. These are the riders that were all caught out on day 1, and they're over 25 minutes behind in the overall classification. So for the Orica Green Edge and Cameron Meyer, not too interested about where they are. They're no threat to the overall classification. It was just quite a bizarre way that this group formed so early on.
Yes, well, they intended to attack. That was quite clear. No sooner did the flag come in and they were around the peloton on the dangerous surface of the hard shoulder there, and they've gone clear. Well, there's 5 teams represented, 6-man in the breakaway, and they're facing 145 kilometres in the lead. And as you can see, the roads are in and out of the rain showers here. That's the first check we've got. 1 minute exactly over the field. The field are in the dry, and we're passing through the rain here. This is amazing because the clouds are going through. It looked very, very black over the winery when we set off, and yet it wasn't raining there as much.
Now we've been able to have a bit of a sorting out back in the main field. MTN Quebecer coming up to the front. They don't want a group to get out too far in front because they have 2 very fast sprinters in Tyler Farrar and Matthew Goss. Orica Greenedge, they probably wouldn't be too concerned if this group went out to 10 minutes or so because they are no threat to the overall classification. MTN Quebecer, if they want to win a stage in this year's race, they have to bring this group back together. Yeah,
they're going to feel pretty annoyed with themselves here because they missed the move. It came so quickly. Yesterday, it took over an hour of very fast racing before a breakaway finally stretched the elastic to the limits. But today they've gone straight away, caught a lot of names off guard who no doubt planned an early attack, and now it's left to the other teams to chase down the breakaway. This in effect is offering a free ride for Orica Greenedge. They've no interest in the race up front. They're never going to make 20 minutes on the field and get Cam Myers' jersey, so they're going to watch and wait. As we head up towards Seymour here, this group now getting clear of the field. Over the sprint point there, no sprint at all. I don't blame them. Jacob Kaufmann taking it ahead of Adam Phelan, Jaden Kopp. So the chain reaction points have gone away. None of those boys were in the competition until now. The race is on and the 6 are clear. And the riders leaving today on stage 3 of the Jayco Herald Sun Tour, leaving behind their famous tower here at Mitchelton Winery and also the famous vineyards as it nestles on the banks of the Goulburn River. Famous grape here is the Shiraz.
Good morning, we're at stage 3 of the Jayco Herald Sun Tour, but it's the 4th day, so what you can expect today, cracks starting to form in the peloton in many ways of the word. So cracked lips from the wind, also psychological cracks. You can see people cracking left, right and centre. Not on the climb, but mainly watch the feed zone. You get a water bidden instead of an electrolyte, and all of a sudden, day 4, that is the worst thing that can possibly happen. So yeah, don't worry too much about you know, the actual racing gaps and that sort of thing. Just look for the hissy fits. There'll be lots of them out there today. Mitch and I have got a bit of time to make up still, but look, it's a team sport, so Mitch and I are we're pretty happy with the situation. Andrew, we apologise for yesterday. It's a team sport.
Thank you, Neil. Yesterday you told us it wasn't, as we rejoin the 6 riders up front here, in and out of rain showers, but making good progress over the field, Scott.
They certainly are, and you can see the gap now after 3 minutes and 14 seconds. It opened up so quickly. There is a bit of pace on now behind. You can see it's the MTN Quebecer team and United Healthcare, the American squad, that have come to the front. They've been able to force Orica Greenedge off the front of the peloton, and now the chase has started. So we may see that gap start to close down on the back of the SRAM motorbike here. Neutral race support. Looks like Sean Lake from African Wildlife Safaris has had an issue, and a change of rear wheels there from the SRAM guys. And the team car pulling up as well. So the SRAM neutral race support, they're right in the thick of things. So they're able to get in there much quicker sometimes than the race teams themselves. A little bit of an issue, may have been able to beat that one out, but we can see now Damo Harris from Charter Mason coming up to talk to his riders in the breakaway group. That's Ben Hill. They have 2 riders here, Ben Hill and Jaden Kopp. So Charter Mason doing very well, slipping multiple riders into this quite strong breakaway group.
I think as soon as these 6 riders formed at the front, this is Simon Clark here, back of the peloton. He's with his team car as well, getting more water. We saw him yesterday taking a lot of bottles on for the team. Which is quite amazing to see the defending champion playing the role as a domestique. But those 6 boys up front, the combination's right today, and there's a chance they will stay away to the finish.
I think, Phil, one of the reasons that Simon Clark comes back to get the water as we look at Franco Pelazzotti. He may be a danger man in tomorrow's final stage as they go up the climb of Arthur's Seat. Such a good climber he is. But with Simon Clark, it's also an opportunity because the riders aren't connected through race radio to get back to Matt Wilson and talk tactics, work out exactly what they can do while he's there, throw a few bottles in, and then go up and help the guys as well, as we see Adam Phelan from Drapac Cycling leading the breakaway group around the corner.
Well, it's at the moment a day off for Orica Greenedge. They've no interest in these 6 riders up front as far as the race lead is concerned. As we go back across the Goulburn River yet again. This is one of the nicest rivers, I think, in the state of Victoria. There's no towpath down the side. It's rugged, almost beautiful gum woodland right into the water. But as we continue on, you see, why should they chase? They don't need to. It's up to the boys with sprinters on the teams here to try and bring that group back. Cam Mai at the moment looking pretty cool and relaxed, always surrounded by his teammates, not surprisingly, because they'll try and keep him out of trouble. You never know when a fall comes.
Well, they're not too far now from the first of the 2 King of the Mountains climbs. Highlands Road is the first of those. It's 8 kilometres in length, quite difficult. And when they go over the top, as we see Caleb Ewan, the winner of stage 2 in that spectacular bunch sprint that saw Brenton Jones crash out of the race. It's unfortunate to see him not take part this morning. And then when they go after the first King of the Mountains, then it's directly down, quite a shorter descent, and then up the second one as well. So not much respite. Only 2 climbs in the day, but they are back to back with the peloton now 2 minutes and 20 seconds from the breakaway group, so it is starting to come down.
Well, Songo Jim's on the front here for the MTN Quebecer team as we start the first of 2 King of the Mountains. They run into each other. The first one is the hardest one for sure. Now we'll see how they go on this, because this will be a real indication. If they've got the strength to keep on stamping on those pedals, then they will stay clear. I don't think the bunch yet will try to ride them down. There's still a long way to go. We're only 75 kilometres into the race.
It's Jaden Kopp from Charter Mason just leading them up here in front of Adam Phelan. Now we'll get to see out of these riders as they get the 2 minutes. And we've only just started the climb and it's now down to 2 minutes.
Oh, there's been a crash right in front of the car here. Riders are spread everywhere. The touch of wheels on the climb, approaching the climb for the peloton. This is Tom Moses, the British rider on JLT. Pelazzotti, they're just riding off Scott.
Well, number 31, Pelazzotti, but that is Simon Clark, the defending champion. Lockie Norris here as well from Drapac Cycling. So 3 of the riders that were in the 21-man group that are up there in the overall classification from day 1. That's bizarre to see those sorts of riders going down. Simon Clark looks fairly hurt as well.
The concern on Matthew Wilson, the director sport, his face there. They've got him away, but I could see his left side was cut and bleeding. And they've caught last year's defending champion. These are the 6 leaders here, continuing up to the summit. The peloton is in the distance there, so they've closed right down. It's still over a minute, believe it or not, that gap. But as they come up here towards the top, there's no big sprint at the summit here as they go over the top.
And it's Cameron Bailey picking up the points in front of Jaden Kopp and Jacob Kaufman. So now they start the descent, and it's only a short one, Phil, before they go straight into the second of the 2 King of the Mountain climbs.
So they're free to descend very quickly here, but this man has at least got back to the doctor's car. This is Simon Clark. He's almost in touch with the race, but he's looking pretty cut up at the moment. He could do with the coffee.
In the start village, the big buzz as everybody's preparing to get ready for the stage is getting coffee into the system. And that makes the busiest man at the start village, Michael from Soul Kitchen. Michael, you're a man in demand.
That's good. Cyclists love coffee. Get it while it's pouring.
What coffee do they like most before the start of a race?
I think the riders are on the espressos or the half lattes, double shot.
Do you judge anybody by what they drink? Does it tell you a little bit about them, though?
Oh, maybe a little bit about them, but we never discriminate on people's choices these days. If you want a soy decaf, that's what gets you going. That's what we do.
This is where the guys come before the start of the stage. Soul Kitchen, and Michael's the man that delivers. He'll even make a soy decaf. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
And while the riders were in bed last night preparing for stage 3 of the Jayco Herald Sun Tour, well, the grape pickers are working all night to get ready for this morning's grape crushing, because they were making one of the major tastes, the top drop prime Shiraz for the Mitchelton Winery. One day we'll get to drink that, but right now we're getting back onto the road. We still have 6 leaders here, Scott. They've finished the drop, but about to start the climb of the second mountain.
It was Cameron Bailey that led over the top of the first one. We'll see how they go when they go up the second. And the time gap back to the main field had come down from 2 minutes at the base of the climb, and it was 1 minute and 18 seconds when they got to the top. So it did come back quite a bit, and that was because of the pressure putting on the front of the peloton by the Quartermenta Real Estate national team. It's Cameron Worth here leading them across the top. They're looking for a bunch sprint. They want their man Steele von Hoff to go for that sprint victory, this time over Caleb Ewan.
The ex-world champion rower from Tasmania driving the peloton for Quartermenta at the front, but these boys are making a very good descent at the moment before they get onto the climb. Well, they got so close, and the crash, I think, may have disrupted them, and the gap has opened again, but it's coming down again. We're now on 1 minute. But what about the scenery? It's stunning here, isn't it?
Well, this is a fantastic stretch of road. It's also the same climb and descent that they use in the Mitchelton Winery's River and Ranges Grand Fondo ride in November. Not many of these riders themselves would have been on it. The Orica Green Edge riders, though, they've all ridden that particular ride over the last couple of years, so they know this climb and descent very well. There are a couple of potholes and a bit of sand on the course as well, so hopefully the riders can get around here without any problems.
Blue sign indicating the start of the second King of the Mountains. This one isn't as hard as the first one. It has the same category rating of second, but they won't take so long to get over the top. And well, let's see how they survive this, because once over the top, we're then heading back down to Seymour and reversing the route back towards the Mitchelton Winery and then into the finish. Asking for the time gap here.
Well, he's actually asking how long the climb is. So Jacob Kaufman perhaps didn't look at the race book very closely.
Well, he may not have thought he'd be in the breakaway.
Perhaps not. Look, I'm sure they all looked at the first climb because they knew it was going to be the harder of the two, over 8 kilometres. And they were just looking and focusing on getting over that before they worried about the second. Now, 20 points are up for grabs on these Category 2 climbs. The leader of the King of the Mountains competition is Rob Power. He won 2 climbs the other day, Category 1. That was 48 points. Cam Bailey, if he picks up the points this time for first, he'll go to 40. That really narrows the gap in the race for the overall King of the Mountains competition going into the final stage.
And showdown on Arthur's Seat tomorrow is what that would mean, because it's 3 times up a first category climb tomorrow. 24 points every time. They still look pretty strong to me here. There's not much future for that tree, I'm afraid. Lost years ago, but for these boys, they still have a chance as they continue to climb this at a nice climb. There's John Savara, the race director. His heart is still in with the bike riders. 3 times a winner of this race. Now, Simon Clark, remember, he's still injured and he's dropping back to the car. He wants his car. Let's hope this is not bad news. He looks okay.
Well, this side of him looks okay, doesn't it? But it is the other side that has all of the damage. Can't quite see it in the jersey here, but his left shoulder has been torn.
The chief referee there saying your car's coming up. One of his teammates just racing past him there. Well, he's still collecting the bottles. I can't believe this. You can see how his jersey's ripped this side. He must have rolled when he went down. And a block of ice as well. That might be to keep down any swelling which might be starting. And I see Jerry Ryan is in the car there, who is the owner of the Orica Green Edge team, and not looking too happy there.
He did have a very concerned look on his face as well, Phil.
There's a puncture here for Nick Dougal, I think. SRAM on hand. Let's have a look.
Front wheel this time. It is the SRAM cam, the SRAM neutral race service. Now, this is a little bit different that's happened in the last couple of years. You can see him winding up the skewer there to put the wheel in. They used to file the ends of the forks down so you could just put a wheel straight in, clip it and go. But the governing body of World Cycling has demanded that they don't file anything off the frames, and those little studs at the end of the forks have to remain on. It takes a little bit longer to do a front wheel change because of that.
500 metres to go for the leaders. They still have not been caught. In fact, the gap is holding just now. So they are going to go over the top of this second and final mountain of the day. And noticeably, the race doctor here is continuing now to follow #1, Simon Clark, and just check on him. He's gone back into the comparatively safe centre of the pack there just for now. As these boys come up towards the summit, they're not really sprinting it out, are they? They're going long term. They want this race to stay away all the way to Ngambie. And again, it is Cam Bailey who's gone over the top, and so he's got maximum points today. So it is going to be a showdown tomorrow on Arthur's Seat.
They're now on the run back down into Seymour.
The town of Ngambie lies just 90 minutes from Melbourne along the Hume Highway. It often has blue skies because it benefits from a mild sunny climate, And the Gambie has also a wealth of local produce. Tomatoes, olive trees and many fruit varieties are grown here. 6 riders still clear, the peloton just over the top of the second climb.
Well, the gap now down to 1 minute and 28 seconds. So the pace isn't on too much back in the main field. Simon Clark, though, having some troubles. Let's hope he can sort that out before we get to that crucial stage on Arthur's Seat tomorrow. Not looking too good for the defending champion, though, right now. One of the groups playing an integral part in the race here at the Jayco Herald Sun Tour is the SRAM Neutral Race Support.
Neutral service for the riders out on the road is delivered by SRAM. The man behind it all is Rob Eber. He's a former Australian mountain bike champion. I think he still wants to race. Busy job for you out on the road, keeping the riders going.
Yeah, it's been a big tour. It's been a good tour. Lots of things going on. You know, when you get those crosswinds and you get separate groups, it's always a challenge for us. With the teams only having one car, you know, we're going to look after the break, or if their team is up in the break, giving instruction to their riders, we're going to take care of the rest of the riders. So it's always challenging. You know, it's not only wheels. You know, they need to be fed. There's a lot of water we go through. We go through about 150 bottles a day out of each car. So you know, there's a lot of care need to be given to the riders for sure. We got one moto this year, 2 cars. Subarus supply the cars, which are great, and they work perfect for this application. And then we also have one Triumph Tiger motorbike, which we love that because there's a little bit of off-roading to do. You know, when cars are all over the place, there could be an accident. We need to head off-road every now and again. There's no secret I'm a mountain biker. I love mountain biking, but it's all riding bikes. I love the tactic of it. I always get a little bit of an excitement when I see a mountain biker do well in the road race. There's a lot happening behind the race that people don't see. You know, there's the GC guys that we all know about, there's the sprinter and the KOM, but there's a lot of things happening at the back. The poor guys coming back getting bottles and having to work harder and getting the instruction, getting yelled at by the DS in the car. Well, we hear all that. It's great to have the NRS boys, the local teams fighting against the Green Edges, against the Drapaks here. Our grand finals now. These riders and teams want to be going well now, and you can see that. They're really having a go.
But one rider who is at the top of his career right now, Simon Clark, in a little bit of trouble here, chatting with Paul van der Ploeg. You can see he's still badly cut up and he's doing what he can to get to the finish.
You could see him just explaining what had happened in the crash. Everyone would have been a little bit shocked to see a rider like Simon Clark come down in the way he did at the bottom of the first King of the Mountain climb. Not normally a place where you would see a crash. Everybody a little bit concerned about him. But out here in the breakaway group, Adam Phelan not concerned about Simon Clark at all. He just wants another water bottle from the team car. The break has been working very well together, all doing good, even turns. The peloton seem to have them on a string a little bit at the moment, don't they? Here's Steele von Hoff from the Quartermentha real estate team. This is the man that the black riders, the black jerseys are working for, trying to bring the breakaway group back to the peloton so they can go for a sprint. 140 now. So it's sort of going up and down, isn't it? They are just on the yo-yo. Not sure if they're going to be able to break the string and keep going all the way to the finish.
Well, I think they've still got a very good chance here. They've been in the lead now for over 100 kilometres. Tactics being talked, but the peloton, on the other hand, might be playing with them. They may feel they can reel them in when they want to, but you never know. They went today at 4 kilometres in, and we're now heading towards Seymour on the return trip.
Well, that was Cameron Watt from the Budget Forklifts team, just giving some instructions and some food to Jacob Kaufman. Erica Green Edge Swanures on the right-hand side, just waiting for their riders to come through. It's actually Ben Kirsten there, doing a bit of a cameo role as a Swanure. He works for the New South Wales Institute of Sport, the former Commonwealth champion on the track.
Down to 125 now, another 15-second recover, but you know, it is up and down all of the time. This is the actual feeding zone here as we race through this. 106 kilometres into the race today, 125 the gap. Snatch the bags if you can. It's always a hazardous moment. Over the railway tracks, we're on the outskirts of Seymour now. The breakaway will be going through the chain reaction sprint point very soon.
It is very much a dangerous place, isn't it, the feed zone, Phil? It may be even more dangerous by the equipment on the side of the road with the tanks there, etc. But they've just gone through that intermediate sprint in Seymour. The second of the 2 they had. It was Ben Hill from Charter Mason getting in front there from Jaden Kopp and Adam Phelan. But you'd notice that they weren't going for the sprint across the Goulburn once more. They were just working very well together. They're quite happy to share the points in those intermediates because it's all about trying to stay away from these guys, the main field.
121 at the same sprint point there now, so the gap is holding. Now it's a race for home. We're approximately 38 kilometres to go to the finish. It's a matter of there's nothing else along the road, only the finishing line. So they're going to put the pressure on now. The peloton may well have been waiting. I think on the 2 or 3 occasions they felt they could catch up. They haven't done so. And now the breakaway is going to have to go for it and hope. Adam Feeling for Drapac driving on the front.
The breakaway group has worked very well together all day. It's going to be a tough task now to try and hold off the peloton. But for the yellow jersey of Cameron Meyer and his Orica Green Edge team, now the race really does start. Let's see if they can reel that breakaway group back in.
Nagambie Lakes, a leisure park, nestles among the historic Goulburn Weir and the meandering Goulburn River. It blends nicely with scenic beauty and relaxation, with a bustling vibrance during the rowing regatta season. It really is a most tranquil place. Unlike out on the highway today, because these 6 men are hanging on and have done for virtually all of the day. But the peloton, I'm afraid, has not lost interest, Scott. Another crash.
Well, I was just about to say, Phil, we could see some water on the road, so it has had a little bit of rain as well, so that makes for slippery conditions. And this is Brodie Talbot here from the Budget Forklifts team.
But I think we've got Robert Power on the other side of the road, because he's in the leader's jersey of the Budget Forklifts King of the Mountain, and there he is. And he looked, well, we've got the Budget Forklifts team on the ground, and we've got the Budget Forklifts King of the Mountains also on the ground. This is a serious crash.
Well, this is taking a long time for the riders to get up and go as well. Rob Power there.
But he's getting away. He's got a lot of chasing to do, and his left arm was bleeding there as he moved away.
There's Tyler Spurrell there from the Data 3 team. So Schramm, neutral race support, right on the scene yet again, right in amongst it. Rob Eva loves what he does for a job. 2 minutes and 14 seconds, so the gap is going up again. Phil, you might be right. They might be able to hold on.
I'll tell you, the gap, as the crash rather, has helped them open that gap. They're going to wonder how on earth it's suddenly accelerated up to 2¼ minutes. But take a look at this now as the action goes. Simon Clark, he was in the first fall. He's got ripped arms down the left side. He's now doing the work to chase. They're trying to repair the damage.
He's putting a lot of effort in as well. So here's the breakaway group trying to hold on. You can see the grimace on the second position there. Cameron Bailey's face working very hard. This is a good effort by these guys. The peloton are now starting to chase very fast. And yet out in front, they are doing their best to try and keep them at bay. And I was wondering whether Simon Clark was going to be the main man for tomorrow's stage or the yellow jersey of Cameron Meyer, but perhaps it's all about the yellow jersey of Meyer. 1 minute 16 now. The gap is really starting to come down quickly.
And we're back on the narrow roads where we started this race on, going in the opposite direction earlier today. And these boys were in the lead going both ways, but are they going to make it now? We're not too far away from Mitchelton Winery, and then we'll continue past and onwards to the finish at the same finishing line as yesterday. There's a lot of anxious faces out there now, and the reason the Orica Green Edge are keeping the pressure on this time is because the roads are narrow and they don't want to get involved in yet another fall.
Well, there was a very big crash last year at this particular point of the stage. And the road does really narrow, as you say, Phil, so they've got to be very careful. But I noticed it was only Simon Clark from Orica Green Edge that was up there with the Quarter Mentha team. I saw Michael Hepburn a little bit further back, so they're holding back some of the guns, just waiting for the bunch sprint at the end. 52 seconds now, so under 1 minute is the gap.
Well, under 1 minute and 10 kilometres plus to go. That normally doesn't hold out. We'll see. But there's a lot of teams now scenting they can win this in the sprint. The American United Healthcare in the blue and white colours came close yesterday with John Murphy. They'll try again. This is desperate moments now as you race towards Mitchelton and onward. The breakaway, though, these boys have worked really, really well together today. Out since the 4th kilometre. That about 130 kilometres they've been in the lead. Simon Clark, despite his cuts and bruises, is now riding at the front. Quite clearly now, the defending champion is riding for his teammate in yellow, Meyer.
There's the Mitchelton Winery Tower as they turn right. They'll come back over the Goulburn River. 12 kilometres to go now. But it does really open up in the last 5 kilometres on the run into Nagambie. It's a big, wide, straight road, and that's to the advantage of the main field, as they can see up ahead.
Serge Powell's the Belgian on MTN Quebec are now doing his turn at the front. I've just thought of another reason, of course, Orica Green Edge is setting the pace. If they can deliver Caleb Ewan to the finish, they might get the victory. Nice look at the tower there, and it stands, by the way, 55 metres high as the peloton is now in full pursuit of the 6th. The gap is closing down. We can't be far off the 10-kilometre marker now, and these riders will know that because they'll recognise the road, and there it is. In the distance now is a long straight road, and that is not good when you're being chased by the pack.
See the distance there now. It has closed right down. They're still working hard out in front, but it looks as if the catch is about to happen.
We are heading down to the last 6 kilometres. They have not yet been caught. Can you believe this? They broke away at kilometre 4. We're approaching kilometre 141, and this is Matt Brammy attempting the peloton to take up the chase.
Well, he just freewheeled there for a moment, Phil. I'm not sure if he actually attacked off the front or was just chasing so hard that he drifted off the front. Now that he has a gap, he's going to try and get across. Oh, we can see now it is Simon Clark closing them down. So this is all about trying to bring the race back together for either Matt Goss or Tyler Farrar from the NTN Quebecer team.
They're just waiting now. We're on the long straight road to Nagambie. It is the old highway, in fact, which is now bypassed. This is the Condor JLT team looking pretty cool, calm and collected. This is on the bike cam here of Caleb, as Caleb Ewan, as we're looking into the crowd. You can see the bumping and barging going on there. They've got Matt Brammy up. There's a rush on the far side of the road. The pack is almost on them, but they haven't quite cleaned them up.
Well, these are so exciting, these closing kilometres, and you see all the teams trying to form up into their lead-out trains. You see the Avanti team trying to come together as well, and now they're starting to split up. They've been out there all day since kilometre 4, and the breakaway group's starting to shatter now, and it's under the pressure from Adam Phelan from Drapac.
Well, Phelan will feel like he's got a chance of staying away here because he's looking for the last 4 kilometres of the race. He's had to make a decision. The last man standing must be the strongest. It's the only unfortunate thing is it's a long straight. Back with the head cam here of Caleb Ewan. And you can see the speed. Nobody's talking now, are they? Phelan is left. They're about to sweep up the rest. There's still a chance he can hang on because very soon he will see the township itself of Nagambie.
Well, there's a very brave effort from Adam Phelan, churning the big gear as well, just fighting against the lactate.
Whoa, did you see that as they rub shoulders there?
We can see how tight it is in the main field. Now, Adam Phelan out in front. Now it's the JLT Condor team trying to do something. Tom Moses on the front. Christian Howe sitting in second position. Here comes Richard Handley around the outside. Now
there's a crash on the far side. There's a whole lot of riders gone down there. They tried to move up on the far side and they've taken out a big bunch of riders. Well, they're outside the final 3 kilometres, which means that they'll have to get up and chase and they will lose time. But the peloton here now are sweeping up. One by one, they're bringing the breakaway back. Well, just have a look at this because this is the chain reaction before that crash, and Tyler Farrar did well to hold his bike up, and he's a big sprinter. There's the crash on the far side of the road. Some of the riders were not so lucky.
Well, for Tyler Farrar, that was a very close call. And now Caleb Ewan trying to squeeze through the peloton. United Healthcare, they did this in yesterday's stage, and it was all about John Murphy, who finished 4th on the day.
Well, as we're coming down towards the last kilometre here now, everybody trying to reposition, and the boys in blue and white have got control again. Now, we have to say this is exactly what they had yesterday at this point of the approach, and they lost control by the finish, and Caleb Ewan came through. MTN trying to get on terms too, and they have a good sprinter still there in Tyler Farrar.
Well, this is a really good look at what it's like in a bunch sprint. They are flat out there. And this is Graham Briggs now from JLT Condor doing the final lead out for Felix English. Caleb Ewan pushing and shoving, hands off the handlebars there as well.
Into the bend and the sweeper all of the way round here, and the first round is seeing the finishing line. As we look here now on the head cam of Caleb Ewan, the winner yesterday, trying to pick his way through, and he's gone through on the left-hand side. Well, there's an awful lot of traffic, but the speed of this 20-year-old sometimes begs belief. He's on the left of our picture now. He hits the front, and he's being taken on. Chasing in black is, in fact, Steele Van Hoff and Tyler Farrar. That is amazing.
That really is amazing. He was so far back out of the last corner. Will Clark from Drapac was the first rider around, but that was just an amazing performance by Caleb Ewan. There's Will Clark on the left, the last man that he caught, and on his way to victory. That was so impressive. It is an amazing power from this small man.
He even looks over his shoulder into the face of Tyler Farrer. He'll be second. On the left there, Steele von Hoffer's come up in third place for the second day in succession.
You know, I didn't know what to think coming into the last corner because yesterday I was the first sprinter out of there, and then today I was a few sprinters back. So it worked out actually all right because I got a pretty good lead out. So yeah, I was pretty happy with that.
You got the green jersey at the moment, but for the team, all the attention now is on yellow.
Yeah, you know, tomorrow is all going to be about going for yellow, and Cam, and unfortunately Clarkey crashed today, and hopefully he pulls up all right, but I think Cam's feeling pretty good, and he's had an easy few days, I think, so yeah, hopefully he can hold on to it.
There's a lot of nervous guys out there. I don't know what it was, if it was that it was quite fast all day. They wanted to keep the break in check, that's for sure, and they definitely wanted a sprint finish, and a lot of teams were very eager, and I think that caused quite a few crashes out there. So hopefully guys are all right. Hopefully my teammate Simon Clark pulls up all right tomorrow, because he's definitely an important factor to our race and tactics tomorrow. So yeah, hopefully he pulls up okay.
Yeah, well, we had a quite good group, and we knew we just had to lay it down if we wanted to stay away. It was rapidly coming down, but all the boys really committed, and yeah, just at the end there I thought I'll give it one last dig, but couldn't pull it off.
Part of the mission was accomplished. You defended the King of the Mountains jersey, but the other part, saving energy, wasn't.
No, it wasn't. Got caught up in a little bit of trouble coming into the finish there, but I mean, I think I'm all right, and I'll go check out my elbow later on, and hopefully that's all good. But I mean, yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow, and got through today, and still in one piece, I guess. So yeah, not complaining.
Yeah, the last few kilometres, you know, everyone was trying to get to the front. But I think the winning move was when Sam Bewley took me around the outside of the bunch and put me in perfect position in the last corner, and then went from there.
He really is a star of the future, 20.5 years of age. Tyler Farrell will be happy on the left there. He's back on sprinting form as well. Well, the Victoria Government Under-23 Award still being held by Scott Davis. Still has plenty of rivals there, though. Adam Phelan was voted the Subaru most aggressive rider of the day today, and well, he should have been. Last to be caught. And Caleb Youn has now got the outright lead in the chain reaction sprint competition, and we can show you that now. He's gone 4 points ahead of his teammate Cameron Meyer and 6 points ahead of Tyler Farrer. And Robert Power, his left arm iced up there from his fall, keeps the lead in the Budget Forklifts King of the Mountains. On the final day tomorrow, this will be decided, but Cameron Bailey has now come up right behind him, just 8 points off. Brendan Canty is in third place. In the yellow jersey, as the Jayco Herald Sun Tour leader, he's done it again. He's all smiles. He won't be afraid of the climbs tomorrow, Cameron Meyer, but he might have plenty of competition on Arthur's Seat, because the riders are still only a few seconds behind him. Well, it did come down to a bunch sprint in the end, and now the young lady behind me is Black Caviar. She started 25 races, won 25 times. Well, already this year, in his first full season as a pro, Caleb Youn has struck 5 times.
The human version, perhaps. He is a pure sprinter, and I didn't tip him for the win today. Kind of a bit silly of me to not do that, but I thought maybe someone else would come over the top of him, but he's just so fast. It was an incredible sprint finish, as again, back-to-back stage victories for Caleb.
Now, tomorrow is the last day. Caleb Youn won't be winning tomorrow. We finish on top of Arthur's Seat, 122 kilometres on the Mornington Peninsula. A tough day, but a decisive one for everybody.
Oh, look, absolutely. And it'll be the race now comes down to those 21 riders that we saw on day one or stage one going away over the climbs on that particular stage. 3 times up Arthur's Seat, finishing at the top the last time. Look out for Franco Pelazzotti, the Italian climber. He's a little bit down on the overall classification, but he's a great climber, so he'll try and do something on tomorrow's stage. Cameron Meyer, he's in great form, so he might be able to hold on. If not, perhaps his teammate Simon Clark can go for it.
The Battle of Arthur's Seat. We'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.